Could you please put your hands together for Jeff?
Thank you. Very kind. Thank you. Just some quick information to start, just to break the ice, really. So a bit about myself. I've got about 50 or 55 people following me at the moment. Nothing to do with Twitter. They're and a half-mad ex-girlfriend called Berta. I was a bit disappointed with Berta, to be honest, because we met via the internet, and on our first date she held my hand and told me that she loved a good match, and then she promised to set my world on fire. Very romantic, but turned out she was an arsonist. And I found that out sort of more or less by accident, because we were on another date, finishing a restaurant meal, and I said to her, would you like to come back to my place? And she replied, yes, because I think the fire brigade are still going to be there. So, hobbies. Some people like cooking. Some people like reading. I'm into shrouding, which is when you visit a hospital, find a patient asleep, and pull the bedsheet up. Great fun. Great fun. It's even more fun if you can hang around till they wake up. Or even better, when some relatives arrive. But that's a bit difficult with security nowadays. So I was actually shrouding last weekend, but I got a bit distracted, and I took a few photos of patients and created a Facebook page called "What Am I Suffering From?" Got some likes, but I think not everybody took it seriously. Beatrice in Ward 3 was definitely suffering from a bad hair day, but I don't think that was why she was in hospital. Also, 79-year-old Beryl in Ward 5 definitely had no teeth whatsoever, but I really doubt she'd been attacked by a cocaine-crazed Ratoncito Perez. And last but not least, the guy in Ward 9, who had an enormous smile on his face, enormous, I can confirm, contrary to the suggestions on Facebook, that he did not have a vacuum cleaner stuck up his arse. Now, obviously, if you're at a loose end in a hospital, another good idea is to find someone who's just recovered from a heavy anaesthetic, pull a chair up to the bed, and pretend you know them. Hello, how are you? Brian sends his regards. I've put the cat in the fridge and Maureen's borrowed your toboggan. Don't worry, she'll bring it back in a couple of days. And then just as you leave, pick up the notes on the end of the bed and go, I mean, obviously, you can't spend all weekend wandering around the hospital. But if you want to, do what I do and get a white coat and a stethoscope, because anybody with a stethoscope in a hospital has to be a doctor, and that gives you the opportunity to approach anybody and say, "Excuse me, but could I listen to your chest?" And it's not often you get to use that icebreaker, to be honest. So put the ends of the stethoscope in your ears and just listen and then slowly start to boogie on down a little for about a minute and a half. Then stop, look the person straight in the eyes, say, "I'm awfully sorry, but you're suffering from the Bee Gees," and run away. Thank you. I appreciate the applause because I do some positive stuff as well. I'm particularly helpful with post-operation stress because I do a bit of face painting. And it really works because, believe me, nobody is going to remember anything about an operation when they suddenly realise they've got a face like a koala bear. Oh, good Lord. Right. So, finally, just for curiosity, really, as I was being chased out of the hospital by 2 security guards last Thursday, I saw a sign on a door that said ornithology, and I thought, that must be wrong. Pathology, yes. Cardiology, yes. But ornithology? So I opened the door and had a look, and there were several women with blue tits. Now, with that image in your head, however you may want to picture it, thank you so much for your time today.
Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. Thank you, Jeff. Takes me to new places that I never thought were possible or legal. I feel like I have a very closed mind. I think my problem is that I'm not gullible enough. I'd like to believe more things. I think that conspiracy theorists seem to have a great time, and I wish I could believe it. There are people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job by the government, and they get all excited and they show each other YouTube videos of pixelated footage, and I'd love to be in on that. There are people who believe that vaccines are bad for us because they contain mercury, which means we're taking little pieces of the planet and soon there'll be none left of it. And there are people who believe that Elvis didn't really die on the toilet. Elvis was abducted by the government, ground up and put in our drinking water so that we drink him, and it makes us more gullible, more likely to accept the propaganda of the government. My favourite conspiracy theory is contrails. Do you know contrails? It's when you look up at the sky and you see an aeroplane and you see the streaks of the jet fuel that form clouds behind it. And there are people who believe that this is actually the government putting mind control chemicals into the atmosphere that will then float down upon us, make us gullible and accept the government's propaganda. But for me, I find that so hard to believe because they're so visible. If the government wanted to slip us chemicals or radiation to make us more gullible, more suggestible, why do it in something that we can all see? Why not do it in something that we never see? Like Bill Clinton's nipples, or his scruples. That's some satire. That's how I like my satire. 20 years Our next comic, John McLafferty. He's got a really big heart. He keeps it in his fridge at home, and it originally belonged to a giraffe. Ladies and gentlemen, John McLafferty.
How's everybody doing? Okay?
Yeah!
Brilliant. Okay. So Madrid, this is a beautiful city, isn't it?
Yeah!
You know, great. You got your cañas and tapas, you know, tapas and cañas. But recently I'll be going to the gym, you know, trying to keep myself fit. You know, I'm going to spinning class. Anybody here go spinning class? Yeah. You know, it's brilliant. It's really good. So, you know, I walked in the other day and the instructor was there, you know, built like a brick shit house, you know. He was like, So, who are you? I'm John. And what do you want? I want to go spinning. Okay then, so get on your bike then. Okay, no problem. So I get on my bike. And the music is really energetic, right? It really gets you in the mood, you know? So I get on my bike, and then music starts. I can't keep up with the music, you know? I can't keep up, you know? And everybody's on their bike going, can't keep up, you know? And I'm knackered. I'm knackered after, 2 minutes into it, I'm knackered. I'm like, sweating and knackered. Can't keep up. And the instructor just turns to me and says, okay, that's the warm-up over. Time for the real class. That was the warm-up. Must be having a laugh, you know? So yeah. So speaking about sport, I was in a bar the other day, watching Madrid v Cordoba, and there's this guy shouting at the television screen all the time, you know? He was like, you're shit, and you're shit, and you're shit, and you're shit, and you're anyone else, you know? And you're shit. So, and Madrid, this is the best team in the world, you know? Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo, best team in the world. This guy just keeps on saying, you're shit, and you're shit, and you're shit, you know? But being Irish, I'm Irish by the way, you can do whatever you want. You can travel around the world, you can run naked down the street and get pissed, you know? And people just look at you and say, English bastard. So Real Madrid, big club with a lot of money. Yeah. So speaking about money, Spanish banks, okay? So before their session 2005, you could just go into a bank very easily and just get a loan. So it's like Fred walks into a bank and says, "Hi there, I'm Fred. Can I have a loan?" And the bank manager's like, "Yeah, no problem at all. How much do you want?" 300,000 euro. Is that okay? Yeah, no problem at all. There's your 300,000 euro. No problem. And Fred just walks out happy as Larry. So fast forward to 2015, and Fred walks into the bank again. And he's like, "Hi, do you remember me? I'm Fred." And the bank manager's like, whoa, yeah, I remember you. Just hang on a second there, you know. And Fred's like, can you give me a loan, please? And the bank manager's like, okay, just hang on a second there. I just have to call my manager. Okay, it's Fred here, and he wants a loan. Yeah, all right, okay. That was not easy, but we might be able to get you a loan. And Fred's like, you might be able to get me a loan? Thanks a million. Can I get it today? Okay, I have to call my bank manager again. Yes, I have Fred here, he wants the loan today. Is that okay? Okay, yeah. We might be able to get your loan today. It's going to be very difficult, but we might be able to get your loan today. Oh, thank you so much. That is brilliant. I can't believe it. That is excellent. So, can I get the money? Yes, no problem at all. There is your 10 euros. There you are. Okay, thank you very much. That's all I have.
Nice, yeah. It struck me when you were talking about banks that it's, we're so technologically advanced at the moment. I love that thing of like speaking to the manager and it's like, because we're past like the memos on the walls. We have more advanced types of communication now, you know. One of them that I'm sure everyone here has is of course WhatsApp. Yeah? Does everyone have WhatsApp? Yeah. Some people have Viber. They're like, I'm not in the WhatsApp gang, I'm up to the Viber one. Join my club. But WhatsApp, I do like WhatsApp. It does connect people, and it is pretty convenient, like for the most part. But one thing that actually does fucking annoy me about WhatsApp is that these groups. Yeah? These groups. I mean, is anybody here in a WhatsApp group? You probably know about the mute button, yes? Well, the WhatsApp groups annoy me because, I understand the concept of the group, and you want to have a group conversation. That makes sense to me. But there's some people in the group, and they forget that they're in a group. and they start having a conversation, which they could easily have outside of that group. But no, they're like, oh, are you doing some cooking? Yes, I am doing some cooking. Oh, what are you making? I'm making some pasta. Oh, are you having sauce with that pasta? I am having sauce with that pasta. Oh, are you going to have some parmesan chicken? I am going to. Just leave the fucking group. Have the conversation outside of the group. It annoys me. And, when I started using WhatsApp first, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely flawless. It's hard to believe, but, I was on WhatsApp, and I was using it, and I was in the groups. And then I started off as a user, But then, after a while, I actually became a WhatsApp abuser. It was a tough time for me. But eventually, I overcame my problem. I went to WA meetings, which is WhatsApp AA And I didn't have that problem anymore, which was good. I overcame it, which I was happy about. But some people, they haven't overcome this problem. You know who you are, and just leave the fucking group, yeah? Do me a favour. Okay. While you're on it, unfriend me on Facebook too. No, I'm joking. So yeah, I think it's about time for us to introduce our third act of the second half. A round of applause. The very talented, very original, and I think you'll find very interesting, Mr. Richard Watson!
I'm not very good at talking in front of people. I'm really shy. It used to be worse when I was about 17 or 18, about 5 or 6 years ago. I used to have to get really drunk before I could talk to women in clubs and in bars and things like that. So I would usually go something like this. Excuse me. What's your name? I think I've had pretty. Excuse me. What's your name? Have I a drink? What's your name? Excuse me. What's your name? My name's Brian. Oh, you fuck off and leave me alone. That's the main reason that I stopped going to heavy metal clubs. But I used to have terrible problems communicating with people back when I was 17. But it's really easy now because you have smartphones and you have all of the technology. You have WhatsApp, you have Tinder, Facebook, Snapchat, all of these things where you can form a relationship before you actually have to even meet somebody face to face for the first time. But it was harder back then for us. And what I'm really crap at as well is sex texting. When somebody sends you a sexy text, and to me when I get that, I say, oh shit. Because you have to reply to it, you can't just leave it. You have to reply. And I'm crap at that kind of speaking to other people. So my replies are usually something like, oh yeah, when I get you home tonight, I'm going to tear your clothes off like I'm peeling a potato. Can't get any better than that. So now what I've done is, I've just decided everybody gets the same answer, which is smiley face, thumbs up. Never fails. Something else I'm really shit at as well is dirty talk while you're actually having sex. Terrible at it. And sometimes my girlfriend will whisper in my ear, "Talk dirty to me." And I'm just, shit. Talk dirty shit. Right, talk dirty. I'm gonna fill you so much with my spicy chorizo that you're gonna orgasm like the 20 days to eat it. And you're gonna be so relaxed after that orgasm that you're gonna have a wonderful sleep and dream about unicorns and rainbows. Unicorns and fucking rainbows! Stop dirty, it's not even sexy talk for fuck's sake. I got a text from a girlfriend about 3 months ago. Get home quickly, go straight to the bedroom. Tonight I'm going to be your fantasy. So I got in a taxi, texted her straight back, in a taxi, big 5 minutes, smiley face, thumbs up. I get home, in the door, pick my shoes up, I'm tearing my clothes up, get in the bedroom, I'm home! And she appears in the doorway, one hand on the door frame, legs apart, hip thrown out. How'd you like me, baby? What? How'd you like me, baby? I'm your fantasy. I don't think so. Don't think so. This is how she was dressed. Her hair was a mess, like she'd done nothing with it for about 4 months. I'm sure there was woodland creatures living inside of her. Her hands were filthy. Fingernails were filthy, like she'd been digging herself out of a grave or something. She was wearing a brown cardigan with just 2 buttons on it, covered in stains, dribbles and vomit, bits of food. She was wearing a shapeless grey skirt that came just around about the knees, also covered in dubious stains. She was wearing a white sock and a blue sock, 1 red tartan slipper and a flip-flop. I'm sorry, darling, but this isn't my fantasy. And she looked really despondent at me. She went, you told me it was. On our first date, I specifically remember you told me this was your fantasy. Then the penny drops. All right. This has been lost in translation because she's Spanish. No. What I said was, my fantasy is Catwoman, not Cat Lady. Anyway, we went with it. Fucking fantastic. So much so that we have Cat Lady Saturday every week, which is tonight. That's where I'm going now. Thank you.
Now, Richard, if you can talk to women as well as you do stand-up, you could have anyone in your bed. That was fantastic, thank you.
You could have me in your bed.
I find it quite difficult to get people back to my bed to do things, because I live in Lavapiés at the moment, and it's an interesting area. I like it because it's a wonderful area to live if you really appreciate family atmosphere and available marijuana. One thing that bothers me is the way that people sell marijuana in Lavapiés. Because the dealers seek you out. They're all lined up in the street, they're all trying to catch your eye, and they whisper in a stage whisper like a Victorian villain, "Hey! And I don't buy drugs very often, but I always thought the rule of thumb was that if you want good drugs, then you have to seek the dealer. But if the dealer is seeking you, they're desperate to offload the product, it's probably shit. I always thought that the way you got good drugs is that you have to call a friend to get the number of another friend who once bought some drugs off this one guy they met at a party once, and then you get his number, you text him, he sends you back a riddle, how many bears could Bear Grylls grill if Bear Grylls... And you spend a week, you spend 2 weeks trying desperately to figure out this riddle, you need the drugs for the party, party's coming up, so stressed, you find out you can't solve the riddle, you send him back, you say, I'm sorry, I give up, and he says, that was the test. So, I thought this was how you had to buy drugs, not people trying to offload it to you, not people trying to push it on you in the streets. And it bothers me because when I walk around, I like to walk around aimlessly and think things. And I'm one of those people where when I'm thinking, I tend to mouth what I'm thinking. So I'll walk around, and it's difficult because if you're walking around in Lavapiés, constantly you'll accidentally meet someone's eye. And they're trying to sell you marijuana because you're in Lavapiés. Or curry. And you meet their eye because you're and you look up, you meet their eye, and they say, oh, you marijuana? ¿Quieres marijuana? And you're like, oh, no, sorry, I was just thinking my own thoughts. And this happened the other day, and as soon as it happened, and I said, perdona, no, gracias. I carried on walking, and I thought, oh, this would be quite a funny story to tell in a stand-up gig. So I started planning it in my head, how it would go, and I started going through, because I'm walking through, think of my own thoughts, and I'm mouthing things, and then I accidentally catch the eye of a dealer and go, oh, can I buy some? Look at that. And as I'm planning that bit, I catch the eye of the dealer, and I've now done the exaggerated version of, oh, can I buy some marijuana? And I say, oh, no, perdona. I continue walking, and I think, oh, that's multi-leveled now, I should do that. So I continue walking, and I start saying, okay, so I can say, and as I was planning the stand-up bit, I met someone, so I went, oh, can I buy some marijuana? I want to buy it right now. And he looks over at me and he says, Chico, I think you're writing a recursive stand-up comedy. It's probably too long, don't do it. Our next comedian, our final new comic of the evening, is making his debut stand-up performance. He's a man who I've grown very close to. I've always seen him as a father, which is difficult because he has his own children and I'm a grown man. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Ledin.
Subtle, I like it. My name is Matt. I'm Matt Leding. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. How many people have heard of Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people are Canadians that have heard of Saskatchewan? How many people have been to Saskatchewan? Okay, so there's one person here. For the rest of you, I'm going to save you about $1,500 and an 18-hour plane flight. Okay? Saskatchewan is basically like the IKEA parking lot. But about 25% bigger than Spain. Without cement or cars. It's completely flat and it's cold. Very cold. It's colder than Alaska. It's colder than your freezer. It's colder than your ex. It's cold. And the white sky with the snow blends seamlessly with the flat ground below. And you just have this big, white, 360 degrees of whiteness. It's like that upload room in Matrix, but colder. And coming from there to Madrid poses some interesting experience changes. For example, they say that people move to the beat of a different drummer, but people also drive to different music. For example, in Saskatchewan, everybody drives to John Denver. Country road, take me home to the place. That's like, everybody's driving like that. You come to Madrid, there's a different music. It's more like more like Guns N' Roses. The car's going slower and the speed is getting lower and it's driving out of my mind. If I drive a little faster, I think I'm gonna pass her in. I'll leave them all behind. Okay, now that's sort of one area. There's also the richer areas of Madrid, which is more like it's my body, I can drive where I want to, fly if I want to, die if I want to. You will die too if I crash into you. And another thing with writing, how many people have seen Bambi? Yeah. Okay, that scene where Bambi's mother dies. Okay, in Saskatchewan, at that moment, the entire audience stands up and cheers. Because in Saskatchewan, it's the deer or us. Because, okay, it's completely flat, there's nothing there. And suddenly, you're in the Matrix, and somebody uploads a deer in front of your car. Boom, death. It's the second major cause of death. So we're actually really happy that there are hunters out there to destroy dangers to the public. I know in Europe, everybody's already eaten all the animals. But I would like to say that there are an awful lot of politicians and they're breeding out of control. I think a short hunting season. Just putting that out there. Okay? There's a lot of civil servants, eh? Probably we could just spay or neuter them. There's a lot of English-speaking stand-up comics. Just putting that out there. But I think that we have to think about what we can do to sort of reduce the dangers. Now, the biggest danger, however, in both Saskatchewan and Spain is not deer. It's drunk driving. And that's really the message that I want to get across tonight. Because statistics in Spain and Canada are actually very similar. Okay, it's getting later, but after 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 in every 11 cars is going to be driven by a drunk driver. 1 in 13 cars is going to be driven by a policeman. I am sure I've seen at least 143 police cars out there tonight. So statistically, there's at least 1 drunk policeman. So, be safe, be careful, and if someone pulls over your car, have them breathe in first. Thank you.
Give it up for Matt Lenny! Yes, there's been a lot of talk tonight about animals and things, and I mentioned earlier I really love animals, but not in that way. You know, I went on a date recently, and we were walking in the park, and because I'm an animal lover, I'm always looking around at nature, you know. And you know, she was like a pretty good-looking girl. So we were walking along together, and you know, we were in a conversation and getting to know her, and I was like, okay, this seems to be going pretty well. And then she stopped me and she was like, hey, look at that. She pointed up into the tree. Yeah, it was in Retiro. And I was like, I looked up, and high up on one of the branches, there was a squirrel. Okay? And she was like, look, it's beautiful. And I was thinking like, yes, this is great. She likes animals, I like animals, you know, maybe we'll tell the grandkids about this, you know? And she was like, I want it, right? Like, first date, yeah? She was pretty hot, lad, but I was like, you want it, like, what, like, as a pet? She was like, no, as a bag. Right? So I looked at her and I looked at this girl. And I fucking ran up and I got her. Because she was pretty hot, you know? But Retiro is a great park. There's loads of animals in Retiro. There's lots of cats in Retiro. And that same day I was leaving the date and I was nosing the cats everywhere, yeah? And I was walking by a tree and I saw a cat at the bottom of a tree and it was motioning into the tree. It was kind of pawing at the tree. It was kind of like, meow, meow, meow. Right? And I was like, what is going on with this cat? Like, what's it doing, you know? Maybe there's a bird up there. I don't know, like maybe a mouse? Well, probably not a mouse, because yeah, that would be the hull. But I was like, oh, what is it doing? What is it doing? So as I got closer, I looked up into the tree, and high up on one of the branches, there was a fireman. He had climbed right up there, and the cat, he was helping him down. He was like, meow, meow. The fireman was like, what? You want me to put my foot there? And the cat was like, meow, meow. Okay then. And then the cat was like, oh God, these humans, when will they learn? And next thing, a fire brigade showed up with lots of little cats on it. And they climbed down and they went under the tree and they had these little cat blankets and they were like, their little hind legs. And on the local news channel, the cat news channel, yes, and the cats were like, and another news today, meow. Another human has climbed another tree, and a fireman at that. When will these humans learn? That's all today, now over to the weather. I think it's time to welcome my co-host back on stage. Please give it up for Mr. Chris Mathis.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you. And I think all of our comics have done fantastically tonight. I want to shake every one of their hands, look deeply into their eyes and say, I really like shaking people's hands. I like to feel people out, how strongly they grip, whether they linger when they draw it away. But it's a very sad origin of this gesture that we have. Because the reason that we shake people's hands in the West, it's originally because you're checking their wrist. You're checking to see if they have a dagger concealed. And I find that really, really sad, because what a culture of distrust. That's become our main way of greeting each other. You can just stand up, sir. Well, thank you for coming to the board meeting. We'll take your ideas into account. You're not going to kill me? Not going to kill me? Okay, all right. See you at the office party. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's a real shame. In Spain, it's better. The way of greeting people. The way of greeting people is motivated by, how do your ears smell? I want to find out. In Japan, it's much more trusting. In Japan, they don't shake hands. In Japan, they bow to each other. You're showing your vulnerability. You're taking your eyes off the other person, and you're showing them that you feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable with them. And that's a culture of trust. Cats do the same thing. When a cat yawns around you, it's showing you that it trusts you enough to take its eyes off you. Now, I'm not saying that there's any connection between these two groups, Japanese people and cats. But both have a strong predilection for raw fish. Both are big fans of raw fish. I don't know if that means anything. Maybe raw fish makes you really gullible. I don't know. Maybe it makes you really trusting. But for me, with the increase in airport security, the anxiety around terrorism, around concealed weapons, I really worry about what the handshake of the future is going to be in 500 years. So, for example, Donkey will come up on stage. Hey, good to see you again. Back against the wall. Face the wall. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. All right. Well, come on in then. How's Margaret? Did you bring you need to to get inside quickly because you'll be able to see there's a plane going overhead, spraying out a trail of raw fish. So don't breathe in, you'll get really gullible. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/diamondscomedy. We'll be doing lots more gigs in the future. Thank you so much for being here. And let's have a big round of applause for our 8 performers tonight. And
Oh yeah, Julie.